good, guys, and welcome to my YouTube channel, Nico Talks Football. As you guys can already tell by the title, I'm going to be going over Barcelona's 2024-2025 season as a whole. Let me just list out the accomplishments real quick. 3 out of 4 trophies won, 4 out of 4 Clásicos, most goals in all of Europe, longest unbeaten streak in all of Europe, and most importantly, most unforgettably, 2 minutes away from a Champions League final. Bro, I'm going to say it, man. I was taken away by the refs. Now, I'm not going to accuse the refs on this channel, bro. That's just not what I do. But the refs, if you want to go back, watch that game. I'm not going to argue about it, man. It's whatever. And I want to just thank real quick every single player, man. From the players like Cuenca, who played 1 minute, to the players like Pedri, who played almost every single minute, man. This season wouldn't have been possible without any of them, bro. And I just want to say thank you, because I actually had fun watching this season. I mean, compare this to last season, it's like day and night. Like, bro, last season was such a catastrophe. I honestly didn't even watch the Final 4 games because the season was already over and there's no point, man. And the ball was so bad that it hurt my eyes watching that. And you just compare this to this season. And, I mean, big up, bro. I want to thank Hansi Flick, bro. He turned this season around. Without him, man, we wouldn't have been as dominant. And you guys can argue all you want. Barcelona was the most dominant team in Europe this season. And for you guys, I want to say PSG. Yeah, cool, PSG. I'm not going to talk about PSG and them about playing in that Farmers League. Or as I know Mohammed's watching this video, by the way, the McDonald's League. I'm not going to mention that, bro. Barcelona's better than PSG. Barcelona's better than any team in Europe this season. And unfortunately, no one's going to be able to... Some people are going to be recognizing, but not by everybody, because they lost the Inter Milan game, bro. Start off the season at the Mestalla, Valencia, 2-1 win at Valencia at the Mestalla, bro. We were a Pau Cubarsí clearance away from going 2-0 down in that game, man. And if it's not for Pau Cubarsí, we lose that game, and who knows how the season ends up. We probably struggle to start off the league. I mean, a lot of people forget, Barcelona started the league with 6 out of 6 wins, man. And Barcelona, in the last 3 seasons, Barcelona's lost or drawn the first game in the league every single season. And for them to come out and win 6 out of 6, it was like a miracle to our eyes, man, because that's not the Barcelona we're used to seeing. And it's not like Barcelona was scraping through with results, man. Barcelona was dominating those games, man. If you want to go back and watch that Valladolid game, man, 7-0. I know it's Valladolid. It's 7-0, though, man. It's a professional football club. They beat them 7-0. And then you want to go watch that Sevilla game, that Bayern Munich game, Real Madrid game, go watch those games, man. And we started off the season 6 out of 6, and then what happened? We lost the first game of the group phase in the Champions League. Because why? Because Barcelona suck in the Champions League. And I'm not going to say Barcelona, they lost that game, but it wasn't Barcelona's fault, man. Like, Ter Stegen, Ter Saddam, Ter Statue decided to play a ball into Eric Garcia under pressure. And what ends up happening? Eric Garcia ends up giving up a foul, and it's a red card on Eric Garcia. And we have to play the rest of the game, 80 minutes with 10 men. And we end up losing that game 2-1. Honestly, that's a good result for having 10 men. As we all know, Barcelona with 10 men, they suck. And then what happens after that? We lose to Osasuna, if you guys remember that game, where we rested a bunch of players. We obviously continued our form in the league. We ended up building like a 7-point lead against Madrid. And then what happens? The October happens, man. That football in October was some of the best football I've ever seen from any football club, let alone Barcelona. What happens in that stretch? We go Sunday, we beat Sevilla 5-1. At the Montjuic. Then what happens? We go at the Montjuic again. We beat Bayern Munich 4-1, fam. You know a season for Barcelona is going to be good if they ended up being Bayern Munich, man. Bayern Munich is our dads. They own Barcelona. If you guys going to want to go watch that 8-2, go watch Bayern Munich, what they've done to us in the group phase. And then the group phase is the previous years, 2022, 2021, while Xavi was the manager. They obliterated us. What did we do? We got revenge. And who got revenge? Rafinha, man. That Ballon d'Or kid. He got a hat-trick in that game.
2 girls in the cut, and I don't know what to do. I fell in love with you. You gave me jet, you know, something.
Lewandowski got a goal against his former club, and he didn't celebrate. Bro, Lewandowski, when you scored that goal, I wanted to see you do that. I don't want to see you not celebrate, bro. Go ahead and celebrate. You saw Thomas Muller before the game making fun of us, man. And then what happens after that? Saturday again. We travel up to the Bernabeu. We play Real Madrid, man. What happens against that game? We win 4-0 that game. 4-0 after a terrible first half from Barcelona. Very mediocre first half. What happens? We put 4 on Madrid. Lamine Yamal, Lewandowski brace, and Rafinha. 4-0 Madrid. And that's how I knew, man, this team was different, bro. And the Flick, Hansi Flick, man, I knew he was different, bro. I knew he was different since the very first game. We went from Xavi to Hansi Flick, bro. And I don't want to blame Xavi, bro, but Xavi just simply wasn't good enough. Like, Xavi did a lot of good things for this football club. He brought in La Masia. He brought in Lamine Yamal. Xavi trusted Pau Cubarsí. He brought in Marc Casado, who none of us believed in Marc Casado, and he ended up playing so well this season. Xavi did all that, but what else did Xavi do, man? His in-game management was not good. And what would he do? He would throw temper tantrums every single game and get red cards every single game. Xavi wasn't even our coach half the time. His brother had to sub in as coach because Xavi was throwing temper tantrums like a 5-year-old every single game. I don't want that at my club. I don't want someone kicking chairs and arguing about referees after every single game, bro. I want a professional coach. And Hansi Flick did that, and he showed us. And look what happened when Barcelona had a professional coach. Look what happened. We haven't had a good coach ever since Enrique. And even Enrique wasn't that good of a coach. He just relied on Messi, Neymar, and Suarez. Our last good coach was honestly Pep Guardiola. And look what happened to Barcelona once they got a good coach, man. They were 2 minutes away from a treble. And then after that, what happens? Lamine Yamal gets injured. And Barcelona end up losing to Las Palmas. Sociedad. Who else? Celta Vigo. They ended up tying to Celta Vigo. And worst of them all, they ended up losing to Leganes, man. How do you lose to Leganes, bro? That team is trash. They're 17th in the league, and Barcelona ended up losing to them. Why? Because honestly, Lamine Yamal was injured for a big of that time of that stretch. I mean, you know, Barcelona, how much we rely on Lamine Yamal. That just wasn't good enough from Barcelona during that stretch. I don't know what happened. And honestly, it wasn't like we dipped in form. It was after we came back the international break. Like, why are there so many international breaks in a season, man? Like, just let us play a season. Let Barcelona play a season. Why do we have to pause every month to see a 2-week international break where, honestly, players just get injured and it's not even good football because all of them are tired? What ends up happening? Barcelona give up their 9-point lead in La Liga to Real Madrid. And then, obviously, we go away for vacation on Christmas. I'm going to talk briefly about that Atletico Madrid game which we lost 2-1. Honestly, despite the result, Barcelona played one of the best games we've ever seen this season, man. Watching Sorloth score that goal, bro, that was terrible, man. Seeing how well Barcelona played that game and how many chances Barcelona had that game and how well Pedri played in that game. And then we end up going on to vacation. What happens? We're 9 points away from Madrid, and it looks like the season is slowly drifting away from us. After having a great 3-month stretch of the season when we looked like the best team, we were the best team in the world. And then we come back from vacation, bro. And what happens? We play that first Copa del Rey round of 32 game against Barbastra. Obviously, that's an easy win, man. Easy win, and then what happens? We have the Spanish Super Cup. We beat Bilbao 2-0. And then honestly, the highest point of the season for me, probably honestly, I would say my highest point of the season was watching that Super Cup final against Madrid, man. 5-2 in that game. Barcelona beat Madrid 5-2. They spanked Madrid again. You know why? Because Barcelona won Madrid. They won 4 out of 4 Clásicos this season. 5-2 in that game after going 1-0 down. Who brought us back in that game? Lamine Yamal. And then Rafinha, obviously, big game player Rafinha. We know 2 goals, 1 assist. After that very game, another Copa del Rey game, midweek against Betis. We win that game 5-1, carrying on our form. And then we go back, play another La Liga game. And to continue our La Liga form, we draw to Getafe 1-1, man. And Getafe, honestly, get them out this league, man. The way they play is so dirty. Who allows that football? Anyways, we draw to Getafe 1-1. And then we finally pick it up. From that game, Barcelona did not draw or lose a game until, I don't even know how long, but we slowly but surely creep back on Madrid. And before you know it, we're back top of the table after that win against Vallecano. And then obviously we play Copa del Rey, quarterfinal. We play Valencia in that stretch. We beat Valencia 5-1 because we own Valencia this season. And then after that, we get drawn against Atletico Madrid. And that game, honestly, man, one of the funnest games I watched that year. We go down 2-0 against Atletico Madrid in the first 5 minutes. 2-0. That was the first remontada Barcelona made this season, and it wouldn't be the last. They go down 2-0, and then they come back 4-2 in that game. And then what happens? Hansi Flick makes a mistake like he really does. He takes off Rafinha and Pedri, man. And then what happens? Atletico Madrid come back in that game, and they make it 4-4. And then we played the second leg and we win 1-0 from a Ferran Torres. And Ferran Torres, what a season he had. 18 goals, 6 assists. That guy was on a different level this season. We need to keep him for next season. And then what happens? We continue our form in the league. We start off in the Champions League then. Barcelona finished second in the Champions League phase. This is how you know this season was different, man, because Barcelona suck in the Champions League. And let's just briefly talk about that Benfica game. Go watch that Benfica. If you want entertainment, go watch that Benfica game. Benfica are 4-2 up in that game. Lamine Yamal wins a penalty, and Lewandowski converts the penalty, and we're back 4-3. Pedri delivers across to Eric Garcia, who heads it home. Eric Garcia, man, he came up for us so much this season. I cannot thank Eric Garcia enough. And then what happens, Mr. Ballon d'Or? Rafinha, man. Rafinha! 5-4, man. Rafinha again. And that's how I knew Barcelona was different, man. They played so bad in that game and they still came out on top. And then after that, we go to the Champions League round of 16, man. Who do they get drawn up against? Benfica again. In that first round of 16 game, Barcelona get a red card. Like they always do, man. Barcelona in these Champions League defeats. Last season it was Araujo. Now it's Pau Cubarsí, bro, getting a red card. Like, what are you doing, man? Pau Cubarsí, let Pavlidis score. He picks up a red card, and then Barcelona have to play the whole game with 10 men. But guess who steps up? Rafinha again. I mean, steps up, scores a goal out of nothing, man. He takes that ball from the defense. He shoots from about 25 yards out, and he scores an absolute banger. Barcelona go up into that second leg 1-0 up at the Montjuic, and then we all know Lamine Yamal and Rafinha masterclass again in that game. Barcelona win that game 3-1. We progress to play Dortmund, and we beat Dortmund 4-0. And what a performance again, I'm going to say it. Rafinha, bro, and Lamine Yamal, but Rafinha. Go watch that first half and watch the runs that Rafinha was making in behind that defense.
What is important to you?
He stole that goal from Pau Cubarsí, but he had a goal and 2 assists in that game. And then Lamine Yamal, man, he played crazy in that game. And then obviously Pedri in that game played phenomenal like he did in every game this season. De Jong, the defense played amazing. Inigo Martinez, Cubarsí, Inigo Martinez. Man, that man, bro. Best center back in the world. And then what happens in the second leg? Like, what happens against Barcelona every time they go away from home in the Champions League? They look like they're about to crumble, man. In that game, bro, Dortmund go up 1-0 after that penalty. I thought really Barcelona was about to blow it again, and they almost did. You know what saved Barcelona in that game? Offsides. Like, it saved Barcelona this whole season. The high line was unacceptable at times this season. I don't know what Hansi Flick was thinking. That was terrible from Barcelona, that game. That was easily the Barcelona's worst performance this season. I don't know what happened in that game, but it wasn't good enough. But they progressed to the semifinals, and that's honestly all that matters. And then after that, they play the Copa del Rey game against Madrid, and they go up 1-0. Pedri. What a goal from Pedri, man. Guy who doesn't score a lot of goals, but when he does score goals, they're quite good. I'll tell you this, Pedri, man. Bro, what a player Pedri is, bro. That goal from Pedri, man. World class, man. He was in the Ballon d'Or conversation up until that game. After that game, his form dipped a little bit, but he was in the Ballon d'Or conversation up until that game. He played phenomenal the whole season. And then what happens in that game? Real Madrid, Mbappe free kick, Tchouaméni header, and Barcelona are down in that game 2-1. And then what happens? Lamine Yamal pulls out a ball, a pass, man. You want to see a good pass? Go watch that Lamine Yamal pass again that he passes to Ferran Torres. And Ferran Torres, again, saving this team. Goes around the keeper and scores 2-2. Bro, Barcelona teams of the past, they don't win. They don't go anywhere near that game. After it's 2-1, they concede a third and a fourth, and they lose that game. This season, though, Barcelona ties that game. And then what happens in overtime? Extra time? Jules Koundé. our most reliable player this season. That was honestly the best Barcelona goal this season, man. Jules Koundé against Real Madrid. The time in which he scored that goal, the quality of that goal. You see where he puts that ball. He puts that ball right in the corner, man. What a goal from Jules Koundé, man. And Barcelona win the Copa del Rey. They're about to win La Liga. They're progressing in the Champions League. And everyone's having treble shots for Barcelona. Like the best team in Europe. Barcelona were the best team in Europe at that time. And everyone, including myself, thought Barcelona was going to win the treble. And unfortunately, they didn't, obviously, as we all know now. Right after that Real Madrid game, Barcelona have to play Inter Milan, man. In the semifinals of the Champions League. In that first leg, that defense really showed who it really was, man. That Barcelona defense this season was terrible. At times this season, that defense was so bad, man. Like, bro, what was that defense? So terrible against Inter Milan. They concede a goal in the first minute. And then they concede another goal to go 2-0 down. And then what happens? When Barcelona go down 2-0 down this season, they're going to make the remontada, man. You better believe they're going to make the remontada. Because they are. They go down 2-0 down. And then who saves us? Lamine Yamal. Lamine Yamal from that stretch after that international break in March, he was the best Barcelona player and nobody can tell me otherwise. Lamine Yamal during that stretch, go watch Lamine Yamal. Go watch Lamine Yamal in that stretch, that inner game. Go watch the first half of that inner game and tell me that kid's 17 years old, man. Lamine Yamal, he was the best player on that pitch in that half. He scores a goal out of nothing. Takes that ball and dribbles past 2-3 guys and puts that ball right against the post and in. A couple minutes later, Pedri puts in a ball to Rafinha, bro. Rafinha. What a header down to Ferran Torres from Rafinha. Another GA from Rafinha. He heads that ball down to Ferran Torres. And Ferran Torres, man, he scores another goal to save us. 2-2. And then what happens? We go into halftime 2-2. Inter get another goal. You know why? Because that high line is shit, man. That high line is so bad. Like, that high line was good at the beginning of the season, but it's April. Players are tired. They're not going to keep the high line as well. So they give up the high line, and then Nina go back and score another goal. And then what happens? Who else is going to save us but Rafinha this season?
Corner that Dumfries gives away short. Oh, Yamal. Dummy for Rafinha! Off the bar! Off the back of Sommer! And Rafinha!
Look at the power he puts on that shot, and look where he places that shot. Right underneath the crossbar. Then we play Valladolid. We go down to 20th place, Valladolid 1-0, man. That's how bad Barcelona were in that stretch. They went down 1-0 to Valladolid in the league. They were 20th place in the league, and they go down 1-0. Luckily, they end up winning that game 2-1. Why do they end up winning that game 2-1? Because Rafinha saves Barcelona game. He equalizes the game again. Inter Milan second leg, man. I'm not even going to... That game was just... Like, we were right there, man. And it's not like Barcelona played bad in that game because they did play bad. In that first half, Barcelona were terrible. But in that second half, Barcelona dominated Inter Milan. Inter Milan couldn't get out of their own half. And what happened? Referees happened, bro.
First, Pau Cubarsí sneezes near Lautaro Martinez, and suddenly it's a penalty for Inter. Soft as butter. But when Lamine Yamal gets tackled in the box, VAR says, nah, it's outside. Replay shows clear contact in the box. How is that not a pen? And don't forget Endrick. Man got dragged 20 meters. Still a pen, no VAR. Then right before extra time, a clear foul in the build-up to Inter's goal. Barca should have had a free kick. And when Flick speaks up, gets a yellow for telling the truth. Barca didn't lose to Inter. They lost to the ref.
But Barcelona ended up losing that game to Inter Milan. And this is a conversation for another day, man, but why are Inter Milan playing that game at home? Barcelona finished higher in the group phase. They should have that game at home in front of their fans. Unfortunately, we had to go away against Inter and play that game in the San Siro in Italy, man. Such a hostile environment. Barcelona go down 2-0 again against Inter Milan. Like, is this a script or something? You're going to go down 2-0 every single game? Why? Because Dani Olmo makes a terrible mistake. And then what happens after that? The penalty, which honestly it was a penalty on Pau Cubarsí. But if you're going to call that penalty, you better call the handball on Servi, and you better call the penalty on Lamine Yamal. as I said, I'm not going to get into that. And then what happens, they come out at halftime, and who saves us? Gerard Martin, man. The worst Barcelona player this season saves Barcelona with 2 assists. And he should have had a 3 because Eric Garcia should have scored that chance he had, that wide open net he had. What does he do? He shoots it right at Jan Sommer. First goal, Gerard Martin delivers a cross. Eric Garcia there again. What a finish from Eric Garcia, man. Into the top corner. And then what happens a couple minutes later? Gerard Martin again puts in across to Dani Olmo. And what does Dani Olmo do? He heads it home. Because Dani Olmo has scored a lot of big goals for Barcelona this whole season. And it's 2-2. And at that point, I thought Barcelona was going to easily get a third. And they're going to progress in that tie. And what happened? They did get a third. In the 88th minute, Pedri plays that ball into Rafinha. And Rafinha shoots it. Sommer saves it, bounces back to Rafinha, and what does Rafinha do? He finishes it right in the corner to send Barcelona to the Champions League. And 2 better defense can help Barcelona close out the game so they can make it to a Champions League final and win the treble, man. Too sad, bro. And then after Rafinha scores that goal, he sends in another ball into Lamine Yamal. Lamine Yamal hits the post. Lamine Yamal hits the post, man. 1 inch away from making it 4-2 and closing off the game. Inter go back the other way. Dumfries fouls Martin. He fouls Martin on that play. Sends in a cross. Who else is there? Serbia is there, man. Over Araujo. Araujo's a story for another day. I mean, that kid again in Champions Leagues. You're not gonna save us again, Araujo. You're gonna lose us a game again, Araujo. After you lost us that game last year against PSG, you're gonna lose us this game again. He scores that goal, makes it 3-3, and then what happens? Barcelona actually have another chance. And who creates the chance? The guy who's created the most big chances in Europe the whole season, Rafinha. He sends in a ball into Lamine Yamal, man. And Lamine Yamal shoots it straight at the keeper. And I'm not going to blame Lamine Yamal because he was the best player throughout both of those legs. Lamine Yamal was the best player. But he shoots it straight at Sommer, man. And goes into extra time. And even when it went to extra time, I truly thought Barcelona was going to win that game. And Fratesi scores he makes it 4-3, man. And who's at fault again for that goal? You guessed it. Ronald Araujo. Like, bro, what are you doing, fam? You're a defender for FC Barcelona. Close out the guy. Don't let Marcus Thuram send in that cross. It's pathetic, man. It's honestly pathetic from Araujo, bro. Like, I love Araujo. He's honestly the most talented defender on that team behind Kubarsi. Bro, but he's just so bad in big pressure moments. And Fratesi scores that goal. He places it so beautifully. And honestly, Kubarsi is at fault for that goal too because he should be closing down Fratesi. And at 4-3, I kind of knew that game was over. But Barcelona had another chance. And guess who had another chance? Robert Lewandowski, man. Bro, you shoot that with the forehead, man. Not with the top of your head. You shoot that with your forehead. That ball's going straight into the back of the net. He shoots it with the top of his head. As experienced as a striker Lewandowski is, he misses that chance. And honestly, he better get out this club after this season. Because I can't watch another season of Robert Lewandowski as a striker of this club. That's not happening, bro. I'm not watching that season if Lewandowski is a striker of that club this season. I probably am watching the season, bro, because Barcelona's my team. But I can't watch that guy anymore, bro. And then the final whistle blows, bro. The most disappointing moment I've experienced as a Barcelona fan after Anfield, man. Inter Milan. After Liverpool, that's the most terrible moment I've experienced as a Barcelona fan. Because Barcelona were so close. And they weren't just close to winning that game and going to the Champions League final. They were that close to a treble, man. And that's just a story for another day. I'm not going to keep ranting about Inter Milan, man. It's too bad. And then what happened after that game? El Clasico. And what happened in El Clasico? We beat Madrid again because we own Madrid this season. After going down, what did we do? We went down 2-0 again because we love going down 2-0 and making a comeback. We go down 2-0 to 2 Mbappe goals. And then who saves us? Eric Garcia again, bro. Eric Garcia with a great header. And then who scores after that? Who else but Lamine Yamal? And that's in quick succession, 5 minutes, Barcelona make it 2-2. And then what happens after that? You guessed it. Mr. Ballon d'Oro, man. Rafinha. He scores 2 more goals to close out the game. 4-2. Barcelona go into halftime and they dominate the rest of that half. They go into halftime 4-2, and then what happens? The high line gets so exposed like it always does. That defending was so bad in that game. Madrid should have had 5 or 6 goals in that game. And what happens? Madrid make it 4-3. And after that, Victor Munoz has a chance to make it 4-4, but he misses. And Barcelona are lucky to survive 4-3 in that game. But I'm going to talk about this. You Madrid fans who like to say Barcelona, referees help Barcelona, go look at that Tchouaméni handball and tell me you watch football and you don't think that's a handball. And then go after that and tell me that Fermin Lopez goal that was disallowed because of a handball, tell me that's not the same handball that Tchouaméni did, that Fermin Lopez did, and they disallowed Fermin's goal. Bro, I'm not going to argue about the refs on this. Even though I've been arguing about the refs for the majority of this video. I'm sorry, guys. I'm not going to keep... This channel isn't going to be at the refs, trust me. And then what happens after that? Barcelona clinched the league against our city rivals, Espanyol. Lamine Yamal again with a phenomenal goal. And then we go have our ceremony. Rafinha dyes his hair red and blue because he loves Blaugrana so much. And then the season's over, man. The best season I've ever watched Barcelona play, like actually every game. I watched the 14-15 season, but I was too young. I only watched like the Champions League games. And I obviously was too young to watch any games prior to that, man. So this was the best season I ever had Barcelona. Thank you for watching this video, and I'll see you guys on the next one, man. Nico out.